Hello, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. So in today's video, I'm going to be wrapping up 12 books in this delightful My Little Ponies wrapping paper. And the 12 books will be for each month of 2022. So at the beginning of the month, when I'm doing my TBR lists, I can grab one of the books and it'll be a total surprise as to which book I'm going to be reading as part of my TBR for that month. So I got this idea from Jess from the channel Phoebe Me. I think she got it from another booktube, but I'm not 100% sure. But I love Jess's videos. Jess is the one that got me back into reading a few years back. I love her book content and I just loved this idea so much. So I'm just going to go through the 12 books that I've picked and then wrap them at the end ready for next year. I do just want to mention that half of these books are going to be chick lit books because over the last year I just haven't been reaching for chick lit. I've been prioritising other books over these books that have been in my cupboard for years, and it's not that I don't want to read them, it's just I just need a bit of a push to get to them. As I say, I've looked at other books more over these, so I just thought this would be a good way to give myself a bit of a push to get round to actually reading them. So the first two books of the 12 are Jenny Colgan, Little Beach Street Bakery and Summer at Little Beach Street Bakery. I'm currently reading Jenny Colgan, Christmas at the Cupcake Cafe, and it's the second book in the series. I wasn't overly fussed on the first book, but I did want to finish the series, so that's why I'm reading it, and I'm just not loving it. I will finish it, but it's really put me off reading any more Jenny Colgan. Hopefully this will be different. I'm hoping I don't read this book because I'm kind of like in 2022, if I'm not enjoying a book or a series, I'm just going to DNF it. I'm not going to continue to torture myself and waste time on books that I'm not enjoying. So hopefully I will enjoy. Oh, I've just thought if these are in a series, then I might read them out of sync. Oh no, I'm going to have to swap one of these out. Okay, I'm going to swap this one out because this is the first one in the series. I'm going to grab another book. Bear with me. Oh. Okay, I've swapped that book for something else. So Jess actually mentioned this in her video. It is the Jojo Moyes Still Me. Read the first two books, absolutely loved the first book. Didn't like the second book, didn't think it needed to be written. I felt like it was just to capitalise on the success of the first book. Didn't like the story, I just felt it was so unnecessary, but I'm kind of in it now, aren't I? So I do want to read the third book just to see how it all ends and whatnot, but I have been putting it off because I disliked the second book so much. So I'm going to throw that one in. Another book that Jess mentioned in her video is Shaz and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. I have been really wanting to read this, but I just haven't got round to it, so I feel like this is a good way to get it in me reading TBR for whichever month it gets picked in. The next two books I got in the 3 for 5 from the works, but then just never got round to reading them. So the first one is The Two Lives of Lydia Bird by Josie Silver. So this is basically about a couple. The partner, Freddie, dies in a car accident, but then it says something unbelievable happens and Lydia gets another chance at her old life with Freddie. But what if there's someone in her new life who wants her to stay? So I'm assuming that's where The Two Lives of Lydia Bird comes from. So that looks like it's going to be heartbreaking and I'm probably going to need tissues to read it, but there's that one. And the second book from the works is Hold Back the Stars by Katie Kahn. And I don't know what made me pick this up, especially after picking that up. But it says, a few years from now, not too far in the future, two people meet. It's a classic story of boy meets girl, except that it's not. When we find them, they have an hour and a half left. Unless they can save themselves, they won't survive. So I don't know what mood I was in when I decided to buy both of these books at the same time, but there you go, so they're getting wrapped up. Next is The Miniaturist by Jessie Burton. I bought this after reading The Confession by Jessie Burton, which I really enjoyed. So this just sounded really interesting. So on an autumn day in 1686, 18-year-old Nella Ortman arrives at a grand house in Amsterdam to begin her new life as the wife of a wealthy merchant, Johannes Brandt. Though curiously distant, he presents her with an extraordinary wedding gift, a cabinet-sized replica of their home. It is to be furnished by an elusive miniaturist whose tiny creations ring eerily true. As Nella uncovers the secrets of her new household, she realises the escalating dangers they face. The miniaturist seems to hold their fate in her hands, but does she plan to save or destroy them? I just think that sounds so interesting, so had to throw this into the wrap-up pile. Next is The Cherry Tree Cafe by Heidi Swain. I've read a couple of her books already and enjoyed them, so I'm assuming I'm going to enjoy this as well. And it's basically about a girl who moves back to her village after things go wrong in her life, lost a job, broken up with a partner, and it looks like she potentially rekindles a romance between an old flame. So how beautiful is that cover though? Yep, that should be interesting. The next 3 books are all by Carol Matthews. She's like in the top 3 chick lit writers. So I've got quite a few of her books, but again, I just haven't been reaching for them, even though I really enjoy her books. So I've got Cottage by the Sea, With or Without You, and A Place to Call Home. The 11th book to be wrapped up is Jane Fallon's Faking Friends. I have read a Jane Fallon before and really enjoyed it. And again, Jess from Phoebe Me rated this quite highly, so I'm sure I'm gonna really like that. And it looks like it's about a woman finding out that her best friend has been having an affair with her partner, so that should be good. And the last book to be wrapped is Incendiary by Zoraida Cordova. I hope I'm saying that right. This just looks so interesting, so I definitely wanted to throw it in just to mix up, you know, with the amount of chick lit that's in there. So Renata was only a child when she was kidnapped by the Crown as a memory thief, the rarest of magical Moria. She was used to carry out the King's wrath, a siege that cost the lives of thousands of her own people. Just think that sounds so interesting. The reviews look absolutely brilliant for it. So yeah, definitely wanted to include that. So I've run out of paper. I've still got 4 books that need to be wrapped, so I'm gonna have to unwrap all of these and rewrap them in something else. Oh God, no! Oh, okay. Book wrap up, take 2. There's plenty of this, so there's no way I'm gonna run out, hopefully. All the books are now wrapped. I'm just gonna like give them a mix around before I put them back in my cupboard, and then come January I will pick my first book and it'll just be like a little surprise present. So that is everything for this video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see more, then please subscribe. Bye!